Hey everyone. So something's been sitting heavy on your chest lately, hasn't it? Like there's this tension you can't quite name, this feeling that something's not right. And maybe you've been trying to ignore it. Maybe you've been telling yourself you're overthinking, but it keeps coming back. That feeling, that knowing, welcome back. It's Anna. And if you clicked on this, I think you already sense that there's something beneath the surface, something that might be about to shift, or maybe it already has, and you're just now starting to see it clearly. So let me share what I'm picking up on. You may be facing a situation that feels heavier than usual, not in some dramatic, catastrophic way, but in that quiet, persistent way where something just feels off. And there's a possibility that information is coming to light. Something that's been hidden. Something that someone's been holding on to. A secret. Now, let's pause here. Take what resonates. This reflection is simply exploring what might be happening in the energy around you. You remain in control of your choices. Always. This is just an invitation to consider what you may already be feeling. Let me paint you a picture. You're sitting somewhere quiet, maybe at your desk, maybe in your car, and you're thinking about someone, and something about them doesn't add up. Their story has cracks in it. Their behavior has changed. Or maybe they've been too quiet, too distant, too careful with their words, and you've noticed you might not have said anything yet, but you've noticed. I feel like you're dealing with something complex right now. It could involve a relationship. It could involve work. It could involve family. But whatever it is, there's a sense that you're not getting the full picture, that someone's holding something back, and it's creating this tension, this restlessness in your body that won't go away. Let me slow down for a second. Because I think what's important here isn't just the secret itself, it's how you're responding to it. It's that part of you that already knows something's wrong. That intuition that's been whispering to you, maybe for weeks, maybe for months, and you've been trying to rationalize it away, telling yourself you're being paranoid or jealous or insecure. But what if you're not? What if your gut is picking up on something real? Here's what can happen when someone's hiding something. They change, not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it's subtle. They become more defensive when you ask simple questions. They avoid certain topics. They're more protective of their phone. Or they're suddenly busier than usual. Or they're picking fights over nothing is less than #0, 5# is greater than, because conflict creates distance, and distance makes it easier to hide. You might have been noticing these shifts, small things that on their own seem insignificant, but when you put them all together, they start to form a pattern, and patterns tell stories. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I'm picking up on this energy of confession, like someone might be reaching a breaking point with what they're carrying, because secrets are heavy. They take energy to maintain, and eventually people get tired of carrying that weight. So it's possible someone is considering coming clean, or maybe they've already started. Maybe they've been dropping hints, testing the waters. seeing if you'll pick up on things without them having to say it directly. Because confession is scary. It means facing consequences. It means admitting fault. It means risking everything. Hold on. I need to acknowledge something. If you're watching this and your stomach is tight right now, I see you. If you're feeling anxious or scared or angry, that's valid. Because the possibility of finding out something you don't want to know, that's terrifying. Part of you might be hoping I'm wrong. Part of you might be hoping this doesn't apply to your situation, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe what you're dealing with is something completely different. But if something in you recognize this energy is less than #0, 5# is greater than if something pulled you here. It might be worth paying attention to that. Let's talk about what this secret could be. Now, I can't tell you specifics. I can't predict exactly what information might surface, but I can share what the energy feels like. It could be something financial, money that's been hidden or spent without your knowledge, debt that hasn't been disclosed, decisions that were made without consultation. It could be something relational, contact with someone they said they'd cut off, conversations that have been happening behind your back, feelings they've been developing for someone else, or actions they've taken that cross boundaries. It could be something professional, a job situation that's different from what they've told you, plans they're making that affect you but haven't shared, opportunities they're pursuing in secret, or it could be something from the past, something they thought they could bury, something they hoped would never come to light. But the past has a way of resurfacing. You know what I'm sensing? This might not come out all at once. Sometimes truth reveals itself in layers. First, you get a piece of it, something small that makes you question, and then another piece, and another, until eventually you're standing there with the full picture, wondering how you didn't see it sooner. But here's the thing. You probably did see it. You just didn't want to believe it. Because believing it means dealing with it. And dealing with it means everything changes. Let me ask you something. Have you been having trouble sleeping lately? Or maybe you've been dreaming more than usual. Or waking up with this sense of unease you can't explain. Sometimes our subconscious knows things before our conscious mind is ready to accept them. And it tries to tell us through our body, through tension, through restlessness, through that pit in your stomach that won't go away. Have you been feeling that? Drop a comment if that resonates. Because I think a lot of people ignore their body's signals. They rationalize them away. But your body might be trying to protect you. Now, here's what's important. Whether the secret comes out through confession or whether you discover it yourself, you can handle it. I know it might not feel that way right now. I know the idea of your world shifting might be overwhelming, but you're stronger than you think. And here's what else I'm picking up on. This situation, whatever it is, it might actually be pushing you toward something necessary. Because sometimes we stay in situations that aren't serving us simply because they're familiar. We tolerate things we shouldn't tolerate. We ignore red flags because we don't want to rock the boat. We make ourselves small to keep the peace. But what if this secret, this revelation, is actually the catalyst you need to make a change you've been avoiding? Think about it. When truth comes to light, you can no longer pretend. You can no longer rationalize or minimize or explain things away. You have to face reality. And facing reality, while painful, also creates clarity. And clarity creates power. Because you can't make empowered choices when you're operating with incomplete information. I'm not sure why, but this feels important. There might be a conversation coming, something that feels heavy, something where you need to decide how much you're willing to hear and how much you're willing to know, because sometimes people confess things in pieces. They tell you just enough to ease their conscience, but not enough to give you the full truth. And you have to decide if you're going to accept that or if you're going to push for more. Trust your inner knowing on that, because only you can decide what you need. Some people need all the details. They need to understand exactly what happened and why. Other people just need the bottom line. They don't need to torture themselves with specific. There's no right or wrong way to handle this. Just your way. Let me ask you another question. What's the worst case scenario you've been imagining? Have you been playing it out in your mind? Is less than #0, 5#, is greater than creating disaster scenarios. Sometimes we do that because we think if we imagine the worst, we can prepare for it. We can protect ourselves from being blindsided. But here's what I want you to consider. Whatever you're imagining, you might survive it. Not because it won't hurt, but because you're capable of surviving hurt. You've already done it before. You've already come through difficult things, and you can do it again if you need to. Now let's talk about what happens after. Because secrets don't just affect the moment they're revealed, they affect everything that comes after. They change how you see the person who kept them. They change how you see the relationship. They change how you see yourself for not seeing it sooner. And that last part is important because you might blame yourself. You might think you should have known. You might go back through every conversation, every interaction, looking for clues you missed. And that can be painful, but it's also normal. It's how we process betrayal. Just remember, if someone was actively hiding something from you, that's on them, not you. You're not responsible for their deception. You're only responsible for how you respond once you know. Let's sit with this for a moment. There's a possibility you're about to face a choice, a big one, the kind that determines what your life looks like moving forward. And that's heavy. I know. Because once you know something, you can't unknow it. Once truth is revealed, you have to decide what you're going to do with it. Some people choose to stay, to work through it, to rebuild trust if they believe it's possible. Other people choose to leave, to protect themselves, to honor their boundaries. And some people need time to figure out which path feels right. All of these responses can be valid. You don't have to rush this decision. You don't have to know immediately what you're going to do. Here's another question for you. What would trusting yourself look like in this situation? What would honoring your intuition look like? Because I feel like you might have been second guessing yourself a lot lately, questioning your perception, wondering if you're being unfair or unreasonable. But what if you're not? What if your instincts are right on target? What would change if you trusted them? Drop a comment if that question hit something in you, because I think a lot of people struggle with this. Trusting themselves when everyone around them is saying they're wrong, or when the person involved is making them feel crazy for questioning. Let me share something with you. Sometimes the problem we're facing, the serious one, it's not actually the secret itself. It's what we've been tolerating that allowed the secret to exist in the first place. Think about that. What boundaries might have been crossed before this? What patterns might have been established? What dynamics might have made it feel okay for someone to hide things from you? Because here's the truth. Secrets thrive in environments where communication is already broken, where honesty isn't valued, where people are more concerned with keeping peace than speaking truth. And maybe this situation is showing you where those cracks have been all along. You know what else I'm picking up on? You might be worried about how other people will react if this comes out, if you have to make a difficult choice. You might be worried about judgment, about people taking sides, about having to explain yourself, about being seen as the bad guy, even though you're the one who was kept in the dark. And that's a real concern because people do judge, people do have opinions. But here's what I want you to remember. The people who matter, the ones who really see you, they're not going to abandon you for making choices that protect your well-being. Let me ask you one more thing. What does your gut tell you to do? Not your fear, not your hope, not your attachment to how things used to be, but your gut. That deep knowing, what is it saying? Because I think you already know what you need to do. You might not want to do it. You might be hoping there's another way. But somewhere inside you, there's clarity, there's knowing, and it's just waiting for you to listen. Take what resonates from this reading, leave what doesn't, and remember that you remain in control of your choices, of your boundaries, of what you're willing to accept and what you're not. This might be a difficult time. Truth might be surfacing. Secrets might be revealed. And you might be facing decisions you never wanted to make, but you can handle it. You're equipped for this, even when it doesn't feel that way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting this space. And thank you for honoring your journey, even when it's painful, even when it's confusing, even when you don't have all the answers yet. You're exactly where you need to be. Trust that. Trust yourself. And trust that whatever is meant for you, it can find its way to you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your heart. It knows more than you think. I don't sell futures. I build architects. Not predictions, just the naked truth for the hard ones. Stay magic. Stay in the now.